I don't want this to create a sad vibe for the whole entire video, but I do want to make a quick little point to say that our good friend Andrew from Driven to Cure passed away on Easter evening at 6 p.m. For those who don't remember, Andrew was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer, a very, very rare form, and he was told at the time that he only had 6 months to live. He actually ended up living 2 years beyond that point, and in that time created a charity called Driven to Cure. He built an R35, went to SEMA, he met a ton of amazing people. He became a very good friend of ours, and they raised nearly $500,000 for the type of cancer that he had. It's very sad news, and when I found out last night, it was really hard for me to internalize, and I don't want this to be an upset video. We got a text from their family all this morning, and he passed peacefully with his family, and the most important thing right now is to carry on his message. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the top link of this video. You're gonna see the Driven to Cure website. A lot of you guys are asking, we should make a GoFundMe. Don't even start that. Just check out driventocure.org, and that helps more than you know. Andrew, may you rest in peace. You've made an impact on not only my life, but on tons around you, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Last week, as you guys know, I blew up the 2JZ in the 350Z drift car. Now we have round 1 coming up for Pro-Am in literally probably about 25 days from now. There unfortunately is not enough time to take out the motor that is blown up and build it in time and get it fixed for round 1. We are gonna be taking out the motor that we have in the car right now. I'm gonna be building it with BC from top to bottom. But in the meantime, we are gonna be picking up a new motor from JDM in California to run in the 350 for round 1. Now I'm not gonna let you guys know what motor that is right now. I'm gonna leave it a little secret until we get to JDM in California. When I found myself in the situation, I immediately called him and I was like, David, I need some help. What can we do? And he was like, bro, don't even trip. I got you. Every time we come here, it's like literally being in a candy store. Super excited to see what we have in store today. There's tons of amazing stuff in here. I always geek out. They're in the middle of swapping a bunch of stuff around, so David felt a little bad because he wanted to clean the whole entire shop up, and I said, David, you don't need to do that. You're a business. I appreciate you helping us out. He is being grateful enough to let us come in when they're like extremely busy today to pick up a motor and bring it back home. So huge shout out to JDM in California. If you haven't checked them out, here's their Instagram. If you're looking for anything parts wise, motor wise, or anything, they're the guys who you want to check out.
Hi, welcome to JDM of California. May I take your order?
This is David's Supra that he brings almost like all the shows that he comes around here.
He's putting on the nice beamer bumper, maybe.
Isn't that the that's the Veilside front bumper, that's right.
Is it?
Yeah, that's Veilside.
Nice meme.
Interesting bumper. I think Veilside killed it with their RX-7 body kit, but I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest Veilside fan for anything else, to be honest. I don't know why, it's very edgy. I appreciate that, but it's just not for me. But I appreciate it.
Sure. Can we show appreciation to the ocean of engines that we could swim in?
All right, are we ready for this? All right, so we have our brand new motor for the 3. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This is sick.
Everyone was like, you're gonna do an RB26, an RB26.
I want this.
I'm not. Now, at one point, I promise you, we'll do an RB26 swap.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Maybe in my beersy.
As cool as it would be to do a whole new motor swap for the 350, unfortunately, guys, we cannot do that. We have to get this car ready in like 20 days. We're actually gonna be picking up another VVTi 2JZ. Everything for the car is already made for the JZ. And if you guys were not familiar, the JZ that we're running in the 350 was a complete stock 2JZ, just with a manifold and a single turbo on there. I'm gonna answer a couple questions that I saw in the comments. A lot of people were saying, 2JZ is supposed to be bulletproof. Why would you blow it up at only 600 horsepower? People run that at like 800 with a stock motor. That is true, but you also have to consider that these JZs are stock and are not taken apart. The only thing that we normally do before we run them is just check compression, and if compression is good, you just run it. Now, although we're running at 600 horsepower, we don't know the previous life that it had wherever it came from. It could have been in an automatic Aristo, or it could have been in a Supra that was manual, it was beat to shit. You just don't really know. Sometimes you kind of just have to roll the dice and you gotta see how long the motor will last. We actually got a really, really good lifespan out of our JZ, considering that whenever we drove it, we were only driving it at 110% at all times. So it never was kind of like a half cent day. It was always 10 out of 10 as hard as you could go, and then you shut it off until you do it again the next time. So considering that we got 10 to 15 events with no issues at all, that was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, when ours did go, the bottom blew out and the top blew out, and you know, that happens. So we're gonna be picking up another JZ today that we're gonna be running literally probably like 1 or 2 events, while our other JZ is getting built by BC with all new parts in it. We're gonna run a compression test today and find the healthiest one here, pack it up, send it home, and the next day or so strip everything down and get ready to swap into the 350. Yo, I literally just came across this. I noticed the coloring. Those are the 350Z track spec option where that comes with Brembos. David has the front and rears with the discs, the pads, the calipers, and the arms. It could be a direct bolt swap if any of you have a 350Z. I would buy that right now and immediately do the swap on my car, but I don't want to do it while we're already replacing so much stuff. I'm just adding more stuff that I don't need to do. But seriously, $700 for front and rears, and it's a direct bolt swap. Do not sleep on that. Literally, that is a steal. You can check out their website or hit them up if you want them, but I'm actually butthurt right now that I'm not buying those.
You can't change variables, CJ. You do this every time.
I know.
Everybody go back to the old videos. Watch TJ change like his steering rack, or you added the hydro the first time, so you had to relearn it.
700 bones.
That's easy.
I'm just saying, fuck, dude, that's a 2-hour job, and you have Brembos on your car. Damn. But as I was geeking at those, we're doing a compression test on the JZs right now. Strip everything and do a little compression test and see which one is the healthiest, and we'll take her home. Good. We checked compression on every cylinder, everything hit 150, did pretty good. Last thing, we're gonna open up the valve cover, we're gonna look inside, look at the camshafts and just check to see what the oil buildup looks like. Sometimes you'll get a low mile JZ, but they don't change the oil often, and it's just like a completely gunky buildup head, and oftentimes that can be a little bit scary. So we're just gonna double check to be extra safe, and if all looks good, we'll pack her up and take her home. What TJ just said, this is a great example. If you look at the outside of this motor, it looks like perfect, super low miles, but when you open up the inside, they just don't care. Really crusty. All those are black. That's what our Supra looked like when we took apart our head. You remember that? Yeah. This is an example of what we're trying to avoid. This thing had great compression. It looks great on the outside. No visible leaks from anything. Open the other head cuff. But then on the inside, it's just like super dirty. Like that's like a bit rusty. Yeah. I don't know where that red is. It's exactly what our Supra looked like. So just to clarify, this is a perfectly good motor. It's just something that when you get, you always want to check these things. This would work and would drive 100% fine. You'd want to go ahead and double check everything. Make sure to change your oil. Make sure you change your oil. That's always important. Yeah, change your oil when even getting a new car. Yeah, but whenever you get a motor from JDM of California, they always run compression, and you're fully aware of what you're getting, but you don't know the exact history, so always want to be safe, take precautions to get the longest life out of it. They take their precautions. When you get your motor, make sure you do your checks as well. So as an example, check out this. It's more honeycomb brown, not covered in a bunch of layers of just gunky oil. So that's a good sign. This looks considerably better, followed by a good compression. This is a great motor to pick up. Super good find. I seriously wish we had a forklift back at the shop. It would make our life so much easier. All right, now we're just gonna put some tie downs on this thing, strap it down, make sure we don't lose it on the way home, and we should be set. All right, Calv. Spare motor in the bag. There's something about knowing that in 5 years time, maybe even 10, but I think it's more like 5, 2 JZs and these imported motors that are like limited, they're not gonna be easy to come by. And when you do come by them, they're gonna be really expensive, way more than they are now. Having now 3 2 JZs, I don't know, it's like collecting rare baseball cards, Calv. It's true, but seriously, guys, hit up JDM California for anything JDM related, motor related. They do mostly motors, but they have more than that. They have front clips, they have little individual pieces, interior pieces, seats, all that stuff. Ask for David, tell him that we sent you, and I promise you they will take very good care of you. That being said, we're all loaded up. We have an 1.5-hour drive home, and then we gotta find a way to take this thing down without a forklift. That's gonna be fun. Danny, you gotta watch. So So how we like to put motors on stuff, before we put it on a motor stand, we usually put it on this cart. We're gonna lower the motor all the way down, and then once we release some of the tension off the strap, we'll lower it and we'll start disassembling the whole entire thing. To me, this is the fun part. Tearing everything down, especially because we have the motor out of the car, and we don't really need to keep anything. We can just kind of like throw everything off and keep on moving. So as Calvin's taking off some of this wiring harness, which we are very familiar with because we just did this on the Supra, I'm gonna go ahead and start attacking these 17 and 14 bolts on the automatic trans. So we're gonna be ditching that. Then once we get that out of the way, we'll probably finish moving the wiring harness and move on to the turbo manifold and the intake manifold. After getting the transmission off and the torque converter off, we had a little bit of a spillage, so we mopped and cleaned all. We mopped all of our mess. But because me and Calvin feel so confident with this motor, normally we would probably stop here and try to pick this up tomorrow and start disassembling it. But Calvin and I are confident that we could strip this motor apart in the next, I think, 2 hours. Calvin thinks we can do it in less than that. So we're gonna go ahead and try to strip everything just down to the block so we can drop this off tomorrow and go get an update on our 350Z. Okay. So I'm super hyped on that. Cal,
how about we actually time it? I promise I won't mean to do that.
Okay, I'm down for that. Start your timer and we'll just start cranking on it and see how long it actually takes us. You got it, Chief. Hell yeah. Check your timer. Oh, yeah. We got stuck on that rusted bolt for such a long time, but
hour and a half.
Hour and 24 minutes.
Boom.
Can't focus, but that's what it says. Okay, so there's obviously miscellaneous hoses that we could pull off, but we're gonna leave the alternator on, we're gonna leave this pump on, we're gonna leave some hoses on just because when I transfer this in the back of the truck, I don't want it spilling oil anywhere because I believe there is still oil in this motor. Intake manifold side, we're gonna leave the oil filter where it is. We're gonna leave a lot of this stuff where it is because obviously gonna ditch the AC condenser, but if we take that off, we're gonna have to remove all these pulleys, and like I said, I just don't want to take all that off. I want to deliver it as clean as possible. We should take out the starter. The starter can definitely go. Oh, there it goes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This will be our motor that we'll use for round one while we're building our blown motor. And then when we put the blown motor in after round one, once everything's rebuilt, we might go ahead and just rebuild this. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm just gonna clean all this mess up, load this back in the truck, strap it down, and she's ready. I'm feeling
Gotta do it for the video. Gotta do it for the video. No.
All right, Calvin. Imagine I'm never.
No. Hi. Hey, babe. Hey, Calvin.
Hey. Oh, I was kidding, man. I was kidding. There is no sippy action going on in this car.